On November 8, 1918, my great-grandmother, Helen Amelia Petty, was born to William and Ada Petty. She was the youngest of 7 children. 2 years later, her mother passed away from heart problems. She never could bring up any memories of her mother, other than the one of the funeral, when she saw the men burying her mother's coffin. She remembers thinking that they would smother her. It took her 40 years to connect that memory with her fear of having anything put over her head for fear of being smothered. When she was a little older, her father told her that her mother had been a perfect woman, so if she wanted to see her mother after she died, Helen would have to be a good girl. He told her how sad it would be if her mom had to come down to see her. This stayed with her and motivated her to be better. A year and a half later, on July 20th, 1921, Helen's dad remarried. Her name was Nora. She was a widow and she had 6 children of her own. Helen and her sister Winona felt like Cinderella because Nora was not good to them or their 5 siblings. She grew up cooking and cleaning for the rest of the family. She always washed the laundry and ironed her father's shirt for Sunday. One day, her brother was showing her how to iron a shirt and press the collar just right. This was no easy task. After he had finished demonstrating, she turned to him and said, "If you know how to do it so well, do it yourself." Once she was doing the laundry with her brother. He caught his hand in the wringer. They didn't know what to do, so they just wound it the other way. They were lucky that he didn't get hurt badly. One day, Helen invited her friends to a birthday party. She had seen all of Nora's children having parties with all of their friends, and thought that hers wouldn't be any different. On her birthday, her friends came, and each child gave her a nickel for her present. A nickel was all that the small-town families could afford to give. Then, Nora came and saw what was going on. She forced Helen to return every nickel to the children, and sent them all home, telling them that there wouldn't be any party. Helen was crushed. After 6 years of dealing with Nora, she and Helen's father divorced. This was a happy day for Helen, but Nora wasn't the only wicked stepmother Helen would have to live with. Now the children had no mother. Since William had to work to support the family, he needed someone to take care of the kids. He remembered his brother's widow, Marjorie Nelson. She had been a nice lady who was an active member of the church. After her husband's death, Marjorie had changed. But he remembered the Marjorie that was married to his brother, and wanted to see her change for the better. He began associating with her, and she pretended to be coming back into the church. On November 9, 1933, William Petty married Marjorie Nelson. Marjorie was not a good stepmother. Winona had moved out, so Marjorie made Helen do all of the cleaning. When William was out of the house, Marjorie would smoke and treat the children badly. When Helen had 2 years left of high school, Marjorie forced the family to move from Emory to Provo. Helen was heartbroken. There was one good thing about Marjorie. She knew how to cook. Her cooking tasted amazing to a family who had lived for 10 years off bread and gravy. Later, Helen told her father that when she graduated from high school, she wanted to move out as soon as possible because Marjorie was so bad to her. Her dad took the hint and divorced Marjorie. He hadn't been very happy with her either. Helen was happy after that. It was just her and her dad at home, and they loved that. Helen's aunt knew a lady that she wanted William to meet. Her name was Edna, and she had never been married. He met her, and after courting her for a while, he told Helen that he wanted to marry Edna. Helen didn't want her dad to be in another bad marriage. She told him that she would stay home forever and take care of him if he wouldn't marry Edna. He took Helen to meet Edna, and she ended up being a very nice lady. They followed through with their plans for marriage. Edna ended up being the nicest of the stepmothers. Helen eventually left home to study at a beauty college. While she was there, she was asked to go on a double date. She was with one boy, and another girl was with Harold Glenn. They went dancing and switched partners for one dance. She liked Harold, and she later found that he liked her too. Eventually, the two of them got married.